Welcome back, everybody, to the WriteSea Executive Interview Series. This is the Voices of Higher Education series, and we are here at the NACE conference in 2024, Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming and doing the interview here, Mr. Spivey.
Thank you.
Please let everybody know your name, what your title is, what institution you're at, and what you do.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joshua Spivey. I'm the director of the Career Center at Mount St. Mary's University in Emmitsburg, Maryland. Been there for around 7 months. Enjoying the space. We're a small but mighty team. Our campus enrollment's around 2,500 students. That's undergraduate and graduate, and I'm enjoying where we're at so far.
Oh man, that's awesome. I love that. Why do you attend conferences like NACE? Is it to network? Is it to get extra education? Like, what's your reason for it?
Those are the main two ones. I would say networking and extra education. When you go to these conferences, you hear people that are from large institutions, from small institutions, and understanding what makes their thing work, right?
Yeah.
And me also contributing to what makes our thing work.
Okay.
And it's one of them things where we learn so much from each other. And whenever you have a certain thing that may happen at work, a challenge, you can contact not just people on your campus, but from somebody all the way in California that might be able to assist you as well.
Yeah, I like that. You know, one of the things that people say is like, we work in silos in institutions, right? And so if we can work with other people that are doing the same job that we're doing, but where they're at, maybe they could share resources, share tools, share ways that work for them. So then that way you kind of collectively learn as opposed to just, learning individually, right? So, have you always been in higher education, or is this something that just, you said 7 months ago, but were you in higher education prior to that?
Yeah.
And, what's your career path been like?
So the education bug bit me in 2016.
Okay.
Prior to that, I was really behind the scenes in media.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's funny being on the other side of it now, right?
Right.
So
okay.
Really what the reason why I ended up going into higher education was a story about my brother. My brother was in special education.
Okay.
And then we went out to eat one day. I realized he couldn't read the food menu. Graduated high school, but he couldn't read the food menu.
Oh, wow.
So I realized that there's issues that were lying there, and that's when I wanted to go and help out others that may have had that same issue. So then I started out in K through 12. I did 3 years of that, and I realized you need a little bit more patience.
Yeah.
Than with
was he
the
dyslexic or just?
Well, it was autism. So he was on spectrum, yeah.
Yeah.
But with that tied into dyslexia, and also his savantness, if you will, was music. If it wasn't music, he didn't really care about it.
Got it.
So working in higher education came about an opportunity at Howard University.
Okay.
And I started adjunct teaching there, and I started my doctoral process there. But I realized burnout does happen.
Okay.
So
that's true.
Still working in higher ed. Now I'm finishing up my doctorate at Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. And I've been in administration in the higher ed space. This is my 4th year going into it.
What are you getting your doctorate in?
It's called Urban Educational Leadership.
Okay.
So that's a program where you're dealing with education from a space of urban settings, urban people, but also HBCUs.
Nice.
And it's a great opportunity to see the things that I've done in my life, whether it be as a student or as a professional, and how can I assist in that space. My dissertation is about K through 12 students that lost a parent and how they ever get that space to get to college. And that's my personal story, so why not study that?
Sure, absolutely. I was gonna ask, like, what's been your most rewarding aspect so far of your career journey? And I personally would probably think like helping those types of students that have had that kind of loss and seeing them thrive.
Yes. I actually had a student that was in her undergraduate program, applied to get her doctorate, applied for a doctorate program in Florida, and she lost both parents.
Oh man.
And you don't get that opportunity to have the mom and dad say, hey, how's school going? You can't really say anything to them about that. But also from the standpoint of those students that don't know what they want to do yet. That's the career exploration space where they're like, I'm here, I'm in college, but what next? Or what now, if you will. So it's helping them understand that and helping them really navigate what's your passion. A lot of times students will come into a educational space saying, well, I want to be an engineer. Well, why? My mom and dad told me.
They don't know why.
Exactly, right? So it's like, mom and dad's not going to pay your bills down the line, hopefully not. And also, will you be fulfilled in that space? So our goal really at our service space is to make sure students go after their passion, what their vocation is, or anything else.
How do you extract that passion from the students when they first come in? Do they take assessments?
Yes.
Are you working with them to figuring out like what it is that they want to do and then kind of showing them and guiding them down a path? Do you use technology, like maybe AI tools or any things like that? Like speak to a little bit about that.
Well, we use Focus to Careers. It's one of the platforms that we utilize.
Okay.
It's like an assessment platform method that we use.
Okay.
But also we use like relational conversation too, asking them, what's your passion? If they know what that is, right?
Yeah.
But also we're looking into AI because it's the way of the world now.
Sure.
It's not the way of the world of the future, it's the way of the world now.
Currently.
And understanding how to get involved in that space where assistant students understanding how to get what they want to do out of their career when we may not be there.
Correct. So. Yeah, correct. I know. I love that. Are you guys implementing any AI tools at the current moment with your?
Not yet. But we're all looking heavily into it.
Man, you got to holler at RightSea,
For
man.
sure,
I got to connect for you.
I appreciate that. Please do. I think we need it because we talk about it a lot in the office, and with our next year planning starting already.
Yes.
How can we do that short term?
Sure.
But also long term as well.
And in addition to that, how can you guys support the most amount of students with the least amount of resources that you guys have? If you guys are working with a few thousand students and you only have a handful of career coaches, how can they handle that kind of workload, right?
So.
You're only able to do that from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And even then, they're not able to necessarily get granular with the student, more so macro level stuff. Yeah. But how can you engage with these students? And so technology helps with that, especially AI technology, right? And so that's what we do here at RightSea is we help enable career coaches and career services departments, help their students, basically get to employment faster. So, what are some of the significant challenges that students are facing in the current job market, and what are your career services department at your school doing to address that?
Two of the biggest ones, soft skills and life skills. Believe it or not, a lot of students
don't have soft skills.
It's scary. The resume might be perfect.
Yeah.
The cover letter might be perfect, right?
Don't know how to talk.
Don't know how to talk to people. Or email people correctly. That's another assistance with AI. It's how do you craft that email?
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, what's up? Can you help me?
Right.
It's like, well, I'm a professional. Let's teach you how to navigate that space a little bit better. And life skills from the standpoint of, you got that first job, great. You have that. How do you know to choose between HMO or PPO? How do you know?
Great point.
Where do you want to live? Cost of living, all those different things too.
Why do you think that is? I'm curious. Like where did the disconnect come? Because in our generation, and I hate to compare generations, right? But what do you think it was? Do you think it's just the advancement and the speeding of technology that people aren't taking the time?
I think
to learn.
Not the issue of the technology; it's how we utilize it.
Okay.
And it's a microwave generation to where we'll have it, but don't want to learn it. Like you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
I think the issue is a lot of times students will get an opportunity, but not realize you have research on your phone, on your laptop to help you figure out, okay, I'm moving to this new space. Where should I get an apartment at? Where should I buy a house? Doctors, all those different things. They don't really utilize that resource space or that research space. They just like, okay, I have a job, now what?
And parents probably aren't teaching that at scale throughout the country.
Nope.
Most families, are either at the poverty line or near it, right? And recession, coming out of a pandemic, all these things, you're just trying to figure out how to survive and put food on the table, and you're not teaching these types of things. And I think another thing that we're missing is financial literacy.
Huge. That's huge. I would say I didn't grow up learning that. Truth be told, and
you had to learn on your own.
Being raised by my grandmother and my aunt, my mom having an impartation, but it's generational. And if you don't learn that, really, I'm the first generation of somebody that actually past the poverty line.
Same.
So how do you navigate that with whoever your partner is, or if you're by yourself? How do you get that to your students or your kids being like, hey, this is why I need you to learn about credit cards in high school. That's why I need you to learn how to save in middle school.
Yes, all those things. And, I'm glad to see that, you guys are doing that at your school and, really taking a hands-on approach with these students. If you can give a piece of advice to career service professionals that are coming into these universities and working in these departments, what would that be from the work perspective? So I'll ask you that for the student perspective, but for a new fresh person that's coming into a career services role, what is a piece of advice you can give them to be successful to help the students?
Be patient. That's a big thing because the career space is so wide and big. I don't even know everything yet. And you have to sit there and be patient to learning what you have going on. How can you provide what's going on to your students, right? And learning not just your students, but your surrounding area. So it's good to know your students, but also what's the city next to you? What are they doing? What's the city within your space doing? So knowing not just the campus, but also the surrounding area.
What's going on? Like, you know, be aware of your surroundings.
Most
Totally.
definitely.
I love that. And if you can give a piece of advice to a student that's coming in, first year student, or even a fourth year that's getting ready to graduate, what are some things that you've learned in your academic career, or academic, not while you were in college, but while you're working in academics, that you can give to a student to, you know, see success?
Okay. For a freshman, don't be scared to talk about careers as a freshman.
Okay. Yes.
That's one thing. For the senior, don't be nervous about that next step in life.
Okay.
You're not going to be able to avoid it. You have to graduate sooner or later. Whether it be 4 to 10 years, you're going to have to graduate one of them days. And realize life is going to hit you. And when it hits you, what are you going to do if it hits you too hard? Are you going to get up from it? Or are you going to lay down? So I would say those are the main things. Making sure that you, and also, failure is okay. As long as you fell forward and not backwards.
I love that. There are no losses, just lessons.
Most definitely.
Right? So I love it. Smooth seas don't make skillful sailors.
At all.
You know, so it's always just about getting out there and just keep going. So I really appreciate you coming. You know, these interviews are meant to be quick snippets of, you know, chunks of game.
Yes.
I really appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us.
Yes,
thank you for opening up. And if you can let everybody know, how can they find you?
So to find me, if you want to email me, it's j.m.spivey, S-P-I-V-E-Y, at MSM, well, Mount St. Mary, so MSMAERY.edu. My social media is on Instagram, jspivey301, and my Facebook is Joshua Spivey. So please feel free to reach out to me, contact me. I'm willing to always help.
Thank you so much. This is another executive interview series, Voices of Higher Education at the NACE Conference 2024. We are WriteSea. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.